Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today we're looking at Black Goliath #1. Look at that, 25 cents. This is I remember this year. This was well, so it's February. That's the month you return the comic, but February 1975. So um, this is he made an appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Larry Fishburne played Bill Foster. So this is Bill Foster, Black Goliath #1. Action-packed first issue. Look at that, Comics Code Authority, because you demanded it in his own mind-bending mag at last. It's mind-bending. I don't know why. This cover is by Rich Buckler and Danny Crespi. I don't know much about Danny Crespi, but I spoke at length about Rich Buckler. I'm a big fan of his. And look at this cover. I think it's a great dynamic cover. Rich Buckler, for those who may not know, I think he started like a convention. He started like one of the very first comic book conventions. You know, he was just a hardcore fan, and then through this he started meeting people. Next thing you know, he got hired, and what kept him employed was he had this amazing ability to copy other people's styles. So it's like, okay, we need like the Jim Shooter. We need a Jack Kirby kind of look. So look at that. Doesn't that kind of look like a Jack Kirby look? And that's what he did. He was an artistic chameleon, and he was very prolific at Marvel. And here's another thing I'd like to point about this cover: you don't see like dialogue balloons on covers that much anymore. Right? This is like an artifact of the past. Sure Flyers, cocks. Man, I when I was a kid, I used to love those cocks. You know, I couldn't get enough of those cocks. I wanted cocks every day I woke up. The first thing I thought about was, going and grabbing my cocks. All right, so Black Goliath. Look at that splash page. That's an excellent splash page. For those of you who don't know anything, because you're new to the channel, a splash page is usually the first issue. This is me. This is like this print. Okay, let me start again. A splash page is usually the first page of a comic, and it has to be one panel. That's what makes it a splash page. Sometimes it's like a poster, just, let you setting up the story, letting you see what's going to happen in the story, and sometimes it's actually part of the story. This looks like a poster thing. So let's look at the credits. So occasionally, friend reader, a picture is most definitely worth 1,000 words. Black Goliath, conceived and written by Tony Isabella. Tony Isabella, so he created that character. He also created Black Lightning for DC. So look at, there's a theme there, Black Lightning, Black Goliath, whatever. Featuring the action artistry of George Tuska, penciler. And look, George Tuska was a workhorse at Marvel. He was working for Marvel since it was Timely Comics. He made the transition to Atlas Comics, and now he was working for Marvel. He died in 2009. So, but just throughout my childhood, there would be many George Tuska comics. Matter of fact, I think he had a big run on the Hulk. I gotta go through the Hulk and see if I'm telling you the truth or not. Okay, and Vince Coletta. Vince Coletta, I knew him. He was one of Jack Kirby's inkers on the Fantastic Four, and he was one of my favorite inkers for Jack Kirby. I don't know what it is. I just thought he just brought Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby could kind of like, get crazy with anatomy and stuff like that. And I think Vince Coletta kind of, I don't know, made it more whole, realistic, whatever. Lettered by Irv Watanabe. We saw him a lot. Watanabe, and Michelle Wolfman is the colorist. She's the wife of Marv Wolfman. Marv Wolfman, as you may or may not know, went on to his own fame writing the New Teen Titans. That just, to me, the New Teen Titans is a watershed in comic books. That just changed the way comics were written, and the storytelling in comic books changed because of that comic. There's no doubt in my mind. All right, there's like before New Teen Titans and after the Teen Titans. All right, let's look at the, 1975. Okay, so enough talking about this page. Let's go in. All right, so you see that first page was not, it's just a taste of things to come. So here we have, cue that old Bill Bixby Hulk music. Dun, 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 dun. And this is Bill Foster. He's going back home to California. Why? He grew up in California, grew up in Watts, because, if you're a white guy from New York and you want to make a black character, you only know Harlem or you only know Watts. So that's where all the black characters are from. Or Wakanda, you make up a place. So Tony Isabella, Black Lightning's from Harlem, and Bill Foster, Black Goliath, is from Watts in L.A. So because again, that's what all the white liberals from New York, that's all they know. So here we have Bill Foster. He's going back home. Why is he going back home? He got a job. He's going to be running Stark Enterprises in the West. So he's going to be running. So he's like a vice president or see, I don't know. I don't know the way the corporate board works. I'm just a worker. I'm not a corporate board guy. But he's a big wig. He's working for Tony Stark. He's Tony Stark, level genius kind of guy. And here he is, just thinking about his childhood. Like, look at that. When I was a kid, it was a great place to play. Who am I kidding? It's all full of like low life stuff like that. And here comes the cops, whatever. He goes back to the old Pop's candy store to, relive his childhood memories. And of course, he gets attacked by, what is that, dolomite, that looks like, like 80-year-old muggers and stuff like that. They're just going to come and beat the crap out of him. You want get some Slim Jims, get some Sons of Origins, and they start pulling his clothes off because that's what muggers do, and he's got his costume, and he just expands. That's his power. Black Goliath. He grows. I think he grows to like 9, 10, 15 feet. I don't know the exact height of his expansion ability. And then he's just threatening them all, like, look at them all. And he picks up I love that. He picks up a garbage can, like, he's amused by them because these guys short work. They're just muggers. And he quawooms them. I hate when they get quawoomed. Purple Pants. Guys, the Purple Pants Club is, I think that's going to be the name of my fan club, the Purple Pants Club. Locksmith's over there. Big Jim's pack. Now, I remember I wanted these as a kid, and these were Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby drew these. I don't know if he designed the toys, but he drew the advertisement for this. So that's Jack Kirby artwork. Pretty cool, huh? Jack Kirby at this point, he was working in animation. He was working a lot outside of comic books too, storyboarding and stuff like that. All right, so here we go. He beats the ball up, and now the cops are coming, and Black Goliath's getting out of town. So look at this. He bends a light post around him because, don't knock him unconscious or anything like that. Just destroy the city. And, people are like, what's going on? Get me down. So here he is. He's working on stuff. And now he's a local celebrity. Look, Black Goliath came and took out this gang. And, now he's having all memories of, cops and this freaky lady over here. There's Tony Stark. The girl that got away. You gotta have pathos in a superhero story. You gotta have pathos. The secret of teaching yourself music. All right, and phone rings, and who's calling him? Yellow Jackets. That's Hank Pym. And this is the problem back then, is all the superheroes kind of look the same. Like, that's Hank Pym, might as well be Clint Barton, might as well be Steve Rogers. They just had, look, can you tell that's Hank Pym? The only reason why you can tell it's Hank Pym is they told you, and then there's Janet Van Dyne. And the only reason why you can know it's Janet Van Dyne is the haircut. So they're just talking about him. What are they? They're sick. These two have like, they're like the longest running like dysfunctional relationship in comics. They're married, they're not married. They're married, they're not married. And they started out just like a generic superhero couple. And then the more popular the Fantastic Four came, they kind of played Reed and Sue as the perfect marriage. So in order to differentiate them, they became like the bad marriage. I don't know. I'm still rooting for them. I'm rooting for Hank and Janet. Yeah, a little ditty about Hank and Janet. All right, bad joke. So here he goes. He's, obligatory. Got to talk to other people, and he's just like, should I become a superhero? This I really liked. This to me is pretty a good page. This is him really thinking about stuff. He's like, I got these superpowers, but does the world really need a third tier superhero? And why does he specifically says a third tier superhero? Because Hank Pym was the original Goliath. Then Hawkeye became Goliath. So now he's like, I'm going to be the third guy named Goliath. Like, do we really need that? And, I could grow really big. I could hold my own against Luke Cage, Power Man, but ultimately, like, two other people had the name and powers before. So, I think that's a pretty legitimate concern. Like, I'm just going to glom off of somebody else's fame. He doesn't know what to do. Best to get back to work. So now they're introducing the Whiz Kids. These are the Whiz. Oh yeah, the Whiz Kids. Doctors Herbert Bell, Dale West, and Talia Kruma. So these are the goofy, eccentric sidekick characters that are gonna, pepper this comic with flavor. So look at me. I'll push the big fat. Is he Asian? I don't know. Big fat Asian guy, goofy redheaded guy. And I love how they're wearing like lab coats that look like superhero costumes. And now he's like, I invented a force field and blah 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 blah. Because what else would you do without the goofy? Even Dazzler, like she had three co-stars in her comic or NPCs in her comic that would like the goofy band members. It was just like a thing that you did around this time, and it works. It's still good. It's just a good way to, you can't just have a solo guy brooding all the time. And that's kind of what Bill Foster's personality is, the brooding superhero. So he's deciding like, that's it. I'm not going to be a superhero, and he's laughing. He's having a good time with these goofballs. But now he sees that the laboratories are being stolen and people are stealing radium. So he's like, that's it. I can't indulge my petty, moroseness. The world needs another superhero. There's nothing wrong with too many superheroes. And I got to say, more superheroes. More good guys, right? There's nothing, look at this guy. Go steal for $1 million radium shipment of radium. So there we go. And we got some cool gunfighters of the West. Law and Order Frontier style. 3 big draft kits given for you. Would you like to earn money and win valuable prizes regularly? Sell Grit. Grit was like a running joke at the beginning of my channel. I kind of stopped talking about Grit. But like I said, Grit might have had the secrets of the universe. It might have been like the most important magazine ever, and nobody ever read it until one of the readers pointed out that it was a really big in rural America. So I grew up near big cities, so I that's why I didn't really understand Grit, because I wasn't in their demographic. So here we go. The Radium Man, right? Is that his name? He's gonna take out the guards, and now they're I don't know, they're piling the bodies or something like that. I hope they're not dead. I don't want anybody to die. And now he's going to use his radium-based powers to just go through the wall and melt it. And I love this. Doesn't it always look like he's dizzy? Like, in the cartoons, and Tom hits Jerry over the head with the board. They see the birds, but that's part of his costume. It's just simple like a radium atom, stuff like that. So here they are. Hiya, kitties. And I'll leave you in suspense while we check out these ads. I love the old ads. Where Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee clothes, some poems, X-ray specs, be a pervert, check out Naked Chicks. I saw my muscles start shaping up right away. Get some muscles. Get the muscles, then you can see as many naked chicks as you want. Let's be realistic. So here he is. Look at that splash page. And I like that he's, when he's Bill Foster, he seems to be like sullen and withdrawn, you know what I mean? And very thinky and philosophical. But I like that. They're playing up that he gets to live a little bit and enjoy his superpowers. And I think that's cool. Enjoy your superpowers. Like Superman should be smiling all the time. Only Batman I'll accept is like dour all the time. But it's like Spider-Man. I understand you got responsibility, but it's got to be cool to be swinging around through the cities. But anyway, so he's putting on his glove, or is he he's putting on his glove, taking his time, just showing him like, you guys don't scare me. I'm Black Goliath. So get him. So I don't know how they miss. You miss some gigantic guy, and he just starts bitch slapping him. Boom, boom, and then whams him. Okay, so he's tired of slapping him around. Now he's gonna just punch the crap out of him. And blue and yellow, such a cool cut. Here's Omega. I really should talk about Omega. I really should. This is a comic I never got as a kid, and then I bought them all on eBay once, and it got canceled. In the midst of the comic, and then they had to they finished it in the Defenders. Yeah, that's what happened. And I think that's Steve Gerber. And Steve Gerber also wrote Howard the Duck. And Steve Gerber, he needs a strong editor, because he'll just go off the rails. It's almost like he just can't control himself. And Spider-Man uses Twinkies like a good superhero should. And I always love that. Aunt May, the frailest woman in the world who survives more danger than like an army man. So he's fighting them up. He's ripping the floor up, because it's only your lab. It's only people's jobs. Don't just use your super strength to like kick these people. Stuff like destroy. Make sure you destroy the lab where you just got hired. And then he got zarked in the back. And here he is. Oh, my head's spinning. My head's spinning. Oh, this guy, I was calling him the Radium Man, but he's not the Radium Man. He's at the Atom Smasher, a name that I love, the Atom Smasher. And I don't know if he showed up many times. I got to look that up. But accept your demise, hero. For you cannot recover from that blast fast enough to stop a man who could transform his body into pure energy. So now he's activating the nuclear reactions in his body. He's powering up, because I can actually hear the power crackling around him. He's getting set to let loose with a second blast more powerful than the first. And there's nothing I can do. Nothing. White fire, atomic death. So there you go. Cliffhanger on the first issue. There's Stan. Reflections of a Superhero, the rock album. What's the name of the band? Super Songs by Superhero Merchandise. I forget the name of the band. The True Believers. I don't know. But there you go. I got to look that up. I bet you're on YouTube to listen to. And take your Spider-Man once you take your spider vitamins. There you go. Take your spider vitamins. Oh, and the Evil Knievel ad. Oh, how much did I love that as a kid? The answer is lots. Every kid in my neighborhood had this toy. And we'd line them up and race them. We would put marks on them or pieces of tape on them so we knew whose were whose. You know what I mean? And we'd race them, and then they were like, 8 inches tall or so, and they had wires through them so you could pose them. So they were like basically rubber with wires in them, and they had like plastic molded hands so they could hold on to everything. And the motorcycle had like a little clip so you could stick his foot in it, so it would stay in it. But because of the wire, you could clip it, you could have them standing up, and it was just so much fun. I loved that toy. So here you go. This is Black Goliath, Marvel Comics, #1, by Tony Isabella and George Tuska. It was a good comic. He later changed his name to Giant Man. Somebody wrote a letter and said, like, how come all the black superheroes got to be black? How come the Hulk's not Green Hulk? How come Iron Man's not White Iron Man? And Marvel was just like, you know what, you're right. So they changed his name to Goliath. And then I think they changed his name to Giant Man. And he's still around. And that's really all I got to say about him. He's not the most popular character. This comic, I think, lasted like 15 issues or so. It was a good, C-list comic book. I hope we see more of Lawrence Fishburne in the MCU. I like the actor. I like the character. And it would be cool to actually see him get giant and beat the crap out of people. Because the only thing getting big about Larry Fishburne these days is his belly. I'm being mean. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, guys, with the video. All right, bye-bye.